So here you can see the interface that is presented to the lower rights users for the Washington State Department of Transportation CMMS system. This is appropriate for the dispatchers, the people who are at the help desk who are receiving calls and entering work requests. So you'll see that the interface that they're presented with is really very thin. They have access to this My Portal page, but they do not have access to any of the additional modules. And also below that, here on the dashboard, you'll see that there's only a total of 5 things that they can have access to. 3 simple reports that simply list sites, buildings, and equipment, and then a form to initiate a service request, and a form to look up the current status of that service request. So let's just go ahead and create a quick service request here as if we were entering this at a help desk. So you'll see that the form itself is fairly simple. We have some requester information, the location of the problem, and then some details about that problem. So starting at the top, we can select an existing employee if we wanted to. We can also hit this Create New Employee link, and that will bring up a form to allow us to create a new employee. Let's just start typing here, and we'll select an employee that matches that filter. So you can see we just have a little test employee that we have previously created. The next step would be to select a site. Now, because of the fact that we've logged in as a dispatcher, this particular user does not have access to all the sites in the system. Part of the security restriction has limited them to view only sites that begin with 1, which indicates that this dispatcher is from Region 1. So we can select a site, and from there, of course, if we wanted to, we could select a building, a floor, a room, or even specify just a free-form location here. Below that, if we had a piece of equipment that this request was referring to, we could certainly select that here. Or if it's just general site maintenance or something like that, we could leave it blank. So we'll select a problem type. We can select a priority here, and based on what we have selected in this little drop-down, that will determine the predefined response time for this particular request. So a dispatcher does not have the rights to specify a response time, but they can specify a priority which will end up cascading into a response time. For the work description, we can select that from the box, or we can simply just type that in however we want. When we push Submit Request, we'll get a little review form just to make sure that everything is correct, and then we can go ahead and actually submit it. Now, once we've submitted it, you'll see that we do get a service request number that we could then report back to the person who was calling in. And so then that brings up the other aspect of the dispatcher interface, is that they can look up an existing ticket. So when the person calls back in to check on the status, they can bring up either this form or the slightly longer version to figure out what the particular status is right now and any other details that we have about this ticket.